football and high school football in general. No one really thought it was going to happen due to all of the craziness in the world. But here we are, the unofficial, official kickoff of 8-man high school football starts here at Charlie Daniels Park for a game between the independent Tennessee Heat and the longtime Christian Community Colts in the 13th matchup of their history in this week's first edition of the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Good evening, everybody. Spencer Tomset, hoping you had a fantastic offseason, hoping through all the madness you and your family are staying safe wherever you are around the world. Hopefully all of you are staying indoors and social distancing, and let's help to prevent the spread of coronavirus through everything that has gone on. Like I mentioned, everyone thought the high school season wasn't going to occur, but here we are. We're at the beginning in the unofficial official kickoff, and it's a good one. The 13th overall meeting between these two teams, between the Tennessee Heat and the Christian Community School Colts. They played every year against each other since 2008. Christian Community, what else can be said about them? They've been in 4 of the 5 last MTAC championships. But the big question is, from this game as a motivational factor and for the rest of the season, is the dynasty starting to fade? And can coaching solely get you back to the MTAC championship alone? Meanwhile, for the Tennessee Heat, everyone knows about how they dropped out of the Middle Tennessee Athletic Conference last year, but now sticking as an independent team, they're able to schedule games as fluidly and as much as they want. And especially with an 11-man schedule for several games throughout the year, it's going to be interesting to see how they go. And as I bring in for the first time this season, welcome to the broadcast booth, Zachary Lone.
I'm glad to be here.
Christian Community, 4 out of 5 of the last MTAC championships they've appeared in, and they've had really strong, they've had such a strong offensive game. They've been fantastic throughout their entire stretch and what you'd call a high school dynasty. This is a big game for Christian Community in a new season on the road. Even though it's not a conference game, this is a big one.
Yes, it is. CCS right now will have to score first. Their offense is like once you go up about 7-14, CCS is struggling to come back.
Tennessee Heat wins the toss.
They have trouble scoring fast touchdowns. They're running the game. It's play action, everything. So once they score, if they score first and set the tempo, then it goes from there.
And you look at the Tennessee Heat, of course, being an independent organization, they have 5 different homeschool organizations to bring in players, so a lot of talent, a lot of great guys they could bring together. Ryan Scott mentioned to us before the game that they have a great week of practice. They've been doing really well. This, especially for their first game, their first official home game at Charlie Daniels Park, is going to be something special.
Yes, it is. It's always great to start a season. Especially, it's going to be really special because usually you don't play your first game in the pouring rain.
Right. Yeah, it's this is. I was telling Zachary before the broadcast. This is the first time that we've ever started an extreme broadcast season in the pouring rain. At least from the time that I've been here. Maybe James had some in 2014 or 2015.
It fits.
It's very interesting.
It fits the 2020, doesn't it? Nothing's normal about this year.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The start of the extreme broadcast season, starting from today all the way to December. But for now, it's Colts Heat, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, next on YouTube. What better way to tribute Charlie Daniels himself at his own park to play the national anthem as played by the legend himself. And a fantastic tribute in stadium as we get to game time in just a few moments.
We would like to thank everybody for being here.
Once again, Spencer Tomset and Zachary Lone on call. With help up here in the booth by Jack Helwig. Set to be a fantastic game night for the kickoff of 8-man football. I believe the Colts won the toss and elected to receive. Let's now see a kickoff by Aiden Luchtefeld, the sophomore, continuing his run here with the Tennessee Heat. And away we go as a little bit.
The ball falls off the tee.
Yes. More perfect start to the season.
That ball is also really wet, so they have to be careful with the possessions tonight. You can't be handing it over if you're the Colts to the Heat.
And away we go in 8-man football for the season. And we will have a return. Left side is Miles Bernard, who gets to about the 15-yard line. And we'll see the Colts offense for the first time in 2020. What's always been an attribute to Christian Community is the solidity of their defense, in tribute, of course, to the champion coach multiple time, Tommy Thornton, on the defensive coordination side. And he mentioned from the scrimmage that we were at last week, they've improved since then, and that they had a lot of their number 1 guys against their number 2 guys, and they've been able to work out different things and thinks it's going to be a lot more smooth. We'll see that on the defensive and offensive side, but start out on a 1st and 10. Handoff right side. Will Adams trying to push through, and that Heat defense meets him right at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, that's one of the main keys for the Heat today. They need, once CCS gets to the outside, they have so much speed that it's hard to catch up to them. So if they can set that edge and keep them run to a minimum of 2-3 yards, they're in good shape.
Christian Community has always tried to run the tempo.
It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Colts.
They've always tried to control the tempo in the games that they've played, and definitely benefits them in the long run. And there's a fake run up the middle. Drew Belcher, the junior, takes it for a gain of about 3 yards in the play for 3rd down.
59, Ross Scott.
That was a good read right there, as we have a referee timeout.
I believe the scoreboard in stadium is having a little bit of issues here.
But I was saying that was a great read by the quarterback there. Read the right end, going after the running back, and then kept it. And he got it for about 4 or 5 more yards.
So after they fix the scoreboard issue, 11:02 left to go in the first quarter.
Down, Heat fans, make some noise.
On a 3rd down and 5, we'll see if that Heat defense can go. Their crowd fired up despite the storms. Pitch to the right. It's Will Adams again, and tripped up, stopped short. About 3 yards short to the 23-yard line, and one of the things we've seen rarely from Christian Community is that they will punt on their first offensive drive.
That was a great tackle on the edge there. If he misses that tackle, he's gone. That's a touchdown for Christian Community.
So 4th down, we'll see a punt here from Aaron Malham, the sophomore. From the side, can't tell the number for Tennessee Heat as it's back to receive is Josh Hackle, the senior, as it goes out of bounds. And they will spot it about at the 26-yard line. And the Tennessee Heat offense has always brought something very interesting. Ryan Scott always having something up his sleeve with his coordination skills.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Heat's own 25-yard line.
This is where the matchup of the night occurs, though. Tennessee Heat's Goolsby against the Community Christian School secondary. If they can neutralize him or limit him, then there's lightning.
And with lightning, it looks like we're going to have delay of game here. And
There was a lightning strike.
they will delay it.
Therefore, the game will be delayed.
We have a inclement weather delay of 30 minutes.
30 minutes weather delay right there.
Start the clock. Get the ball. Start the clock.
Yep. 30-minute weather delay here with 9:14 left to go in the first.
Whenever there is a lightning strike, which is near the
And-
field and can be seen, it does cause a 30-minute delay.
Coach Flanders and Scott meeting
So
with the
long
referees
as there
just to
is no
confirm
more
everything,
lightning
but
strikes during that
a
30-minute
30-minute delay here for weather conditions.
The forecast does have the storm parts leaving in about 15 minutes, so we should be back into football in about 45.
Assuming that there's no lightning strikes in that 15-minute time, because anytime there's a strike, the clock resets on the 30-minute situation. Coach Scott and Flanders coordinating with each other to make sure that players are aware of what they need to do and everything that needs to occur. And again, the first time this is the first time for Extreme Game of the Week, as far as I've done, that we've started out a season in the pouring rain. I know it was mentioned that we did Bowling Green FCA in 2018. It was not raining at the start of that one. And the 30-minute timer starts, and we will get the timer up on the Be Right Back screen here for you on a weather delay, and we will be back closer to time to give you updates as we get them. Just a reminder, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Just a quick update. Thank you to the 21 of you watching here As we mentioned earlier, there's a lightning delay currently here at Charlie Daniels Park. About 8 minutes ago, lightning struck, and the officials promptly stopped the game to make sure of the safety of the players. And if they see another lightning strike, that timer resets to another 30 minutes until there's 30 minutes without a lightning strike. But as you mentioned, Zachary, looks like about 15 minutes, probably less at this point, when the storms are supposed to clear through. So we'll hopefully be back to football sooner than later.
Definitely. And there hasn't been a lightning strike yet since the initial two that went back to back. So we're looking pretty promising right now. And the rain has subsided just a little bit. So it looks like the storms are passing, which is always good news.
It's always good news. And Christian Community, to my knowledge, they are in their team bus right now. Charlie Daniels Park, it's a good facility. No locker rooms for any of the teams. I believe the Tennessee Heat went off maybe onto their bus or two to get the forecast of the rain, at least not have any issues. But at least looking at the Doppler radar, looks like it could easily pass us within the next 15 minutes. Looks like the wind direction may be going, maybe looks like east, maybe southeast, something like that. But we'll see how it goes.
It looks like we're just getting rain at the moment.
Yep, just rain, no lightning. Hopefully it stays that way. As we have on the screen, lightning delay, another 20 minutes. We'll check in a little bit closer to time, but Tennessee Heat about 9 minutes and 14 seconds in the first quarter until at least left of the first, and about 20 minutes until the lightning delay is over. Welcome back to Charlie Daniels Park. About 11 minutes since the last lightning strike. Doesn't look like we've seen any yet. And about 11 minutes, I believe they'll give the players about 10 minutes or so to warm up, or they'll take the time allotted from halftime. But so far, nothing yet here at Charlie Daniels Park. As still it's a tie game. It's a tie game at this point, but it's about 10 minutes until we possibly get back to starting play. Spencer Tomzad, Zachary Lone, and Jack Elwig with us here in the booth, doing everything we can to bring you this essential kickoff game for 8-man football. And I know YouTube's system may get a copyright strike in the background, but how about this tribute playing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" at Charlie Daniels Park in memorial of him?
I mean, you can tell that how much effort they've put into this so far, and I mean, it feels like it's a memorial. And it's also almost like a perfect time for them to do the memorial, because there's 30 minutes of fans just sitting here with nothing to do, nothing to watch.
Right. And it's, unfortunately now it's, I'm sure they'll rename it, unfortunately, to Charlie Daniels Memorial Park, rest his soul. But it's good that they're honoring one of the greats, and I know that some of the people that we know have had the pleasure of meeting Charlie Daniels in the past. James Shannon, actually, he met him when he was working at Bridgestone several years ago, so he got to meet him and while he was working with the company over there. But at least what we're looking at, 9.5 minutes to go until play is supposed to resume, so we'll be back probably at about 2 minutes until the lightning delay is done, assuming we don't see any more lightning out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just got an update from head referee Mike Walker, as well as in stadium from Coach Jimbo Savely. About 10 minutes left. They will have the players warm up on the field, and it takes whatever time it is to warm up. They'll take it from them from their halftime break, and so we'll get that clock set to about 10 more minutes left until we resume play here at Charlie Daniels Field. So you get to see Christian Community in the heat in about their 13th rivalry, something like that. It has been interesting. Just the first few minutes of the game were pretty interesting from the offensive teams there, and CCS stopped there. We almost saw the Heat offense, and we're going to get to see that at the start of the resumption of play.
Yes, before the lightning strike, I was gonna say the matchup I'm looking forward to is Brandon Goolsby versus his secondary, because if they can, as I was saying, if they can minimize Goolsby, then all of a sudden the Heat have to change our offense, and that CCS secondary is going to be considered that a win.
The CCS secondary has got their work cut out for them against this Heat offense. So about 10 minutes left, and warm-up starting on the field. We'll get you back to Charlie Daniels Field when this lightning delay is over. Welcome back. It's time for football. Lightning delay is officially over as the Heat have their first offensive play of the night. First and 10 on the 25. It's motion. And Carter Sutton was the one on motion, and taking it up the middle was a handoff
Carried
by Corley.
number 44, Trace Aldred.
Trace Aldred, the senior, carried the ball there, and only back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard gain, second down.
And that was what I was talking about, setting that edge, because as you could tell, the defender made sure he couldn't get to that edge as the clock wasn't starting on the official game clock. But because the running back couldn't get to that edge, he had to cut back inside where they had 3 more defenders. That's going to be the key for CCS's defense tonight.
They're trying to get the scoreboard working here in stadium, trying to run the clock and make sure it's going well. Trying to resolve the issue as they figure out what's going on here. And it looks like they're going to have Mike Walker as our referee for the night. He's coming over to the sideline to try to get the situation figured out. Yeah, you guys missed it on broadcast, but a brilliant point brought up by Jack Helwig about wondering what's going through the players' minds during these delays. As they're getting looks like they got the clock situated.
Please have your orange wristband on so that we can make sure that everybody has.
And looks like they got the clock situation sorted. And they're going to set it at 9:14.
Tennessee Heat from their own 26-yard line.
So we have another stoppage.
Officials timeout.
I think they're trying to set their watches.
Yeah, they're trying to synchronize everything, and
Here we go.
and it looks like they got it situated. So 9:14 on the game clock in the first quarter. Mike Walker, for the moment, is keeping the clock on the field until it can get situated. Here's a rush on the right side by Trace Aldred, and he will get the first down.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a holding back at about the 35-yard line.
And we'll get the call from Walker.
Hey, tell him it was his right tackle. It was his right tackle. Holding.
It is holding against the Tennessee Heat.
10-yard penalty from the spot.
That'll back them up 10
Replay
yards.
second down.
So, as you heard there,
Sorry.
holding and
That is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So now we have 2nd and 15. It is a repeat of the second down for the Tennessee Heat.
repeat of the second down with the holding for 2nd and 15. You can hear the Heat fans enthusiastic despite the rain. Several people bought umbrellas and awnings, canopies to keep a protected motion on the play by Aldred. Back of the shotgun is Corley. Tosses it. Nice catch by Goolsby. Brandon Goolsby weaving out of tackles. Gets back to the line of scrimmage for a third down.
That was a great piece of tackling right there by CCS.
Pass from Matthew Corley to Brandon Goolsby is good.
They swarmed to the ball carrier right there,
Short gain on the play of a
causing
yard.
only a gain of about 1 to 2 yards.
For the Tennessee Heat.
So at the end of the first quarter, we'll give an update. You want to get on mic? Yeah, I'll get on mic at the end of the quarter. Sorry, my bad.
Third and 14.
Third down and
Tennessee Heat.
14. A little bit of jumping on the defensive line, but here's Corley looking for his options under pressure. Deep toss in the middle and just through the hands. That was Josh Hackle, the senior, trying to make the catch, but incomplete. It's going to head to a fourth down.
Hackle, incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and 14 for the Tennessee Heat.
He had him right there. He just barely overthrew him. It could be where the ball slipped out of his hands or something. That's something we need to be watching for. You need to be watching for tonight, because the quarterbacks will have trouble gripping the ball.
Trace Aldrich back to kick for the Heat. Number 2, Braden Chun back to receive for the Colts.
And a high snap back to the end zone. It's picked up by Aldred, who was intended to punt and loses the ball. It's loose. The Colts, do they get it? It's still loose in the end zone, just short of the goal line, and it looks like the Colts have a big chance to score first.
Recovered by the Colts on the Tennessee Heat 1-yard line.
The punter retreated there and tried to pick it up and run for a few more yards, but then he coughed it up because of the wet conditions, and CCS ended up recovering that fumble at the 1.
And we have our first replay of the season.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Colts from the Tennessee Heat 1-yard line.
And now from the
All
1-yard
right,
line,
fans,
great
make some
advantage
noise.
for Christian Community. And handoff up the middle, past the goal line, touchdown.
That is a Colts touchdown
That was
by
a great
Colts
run.
number
He
7.
lowered his shoulder and got that
Will
extra
Adams.
yard that he needed for that touchdown.
It's touchdown by Will Adams, rushing up the middle. Handoff from Drew Belcher, and Christian Community, as far as we're aware, does not have a field goal kicker, but in these conditions, very difficult to try and manage. So now a 2-point conversion
Community
attempt.
Colts going for 2 on the extra point.
Belcher in the backfield. Motion. That's Brandon Chun with the handoff, and Chun trying to push through. And
He didn't get-
it's no good.
Ball carried by number
6-0
2, Braden Chun.
after the fumble
No
recovery
good.
by the
Tackled
Tennessee
by
Heat.
Number 44, Trace Aldrich.
The strike first is from Christian Community.
On that failed punt, the punter was in a curious situation there, because usually you're told fall on that football, but that football was in the end zone. So he had to pick it up, and he had to do whatever he could with it. And with CCS's pressure, he didn't have time to punt it away. So he made the right decision. It's just the ball is extremely wet, and I think he was slipping when he was
6
trying
minutes,
to
51 seconds
go
to
down
go
when
in
the
first
hit.
quarter.
It's incredibly difficult in those situations, especially with the rainy conditions. You look at what the forecast is right now, about 68 degrees and
Number
still
18,
raining.
Steve Lawyer
No
kicking off
lightning
for the
in
Colts.
sight
Number 19,
as
Josh Hackle, back
we have
deep
about
for the Heat.
6:51 left to go in the first. Deep back and still on the ground. That's Josh Hackle trying to pick it up. And down to about the
Josh
10-yard
Hackle
line
on
with
the
forward
carry.
progress. Maybe about the 8, and we'll see if the Tennessee Heat can make up for it.
That was a great kick return coverage by
Number
CCS.
60,
They got past
And number
the
14
Tennessee Heat
on
blockers
the
and was
tackle for the
immediately
Colts.
there to pounce on the Tennessee Heat's returner there.
Christian Community is no stranger to the pouring and rainy conditions. They've been in this situation before. In 2017, they were in the MTAC semifinal against Franklin
It'll be
Christian
first and
Academy.
10 for the Heat
It
on
was
their
at
own
home, but
6-yard line.
pouring rain, cold of November, one of the more brutal playoff games they've ever had. So now on a 1st and 10, handoff for the Heat. That's Trace Aldred again, gets a gain of about 3 yards for second down.
That was a great tackle. And this drive for the Heat is big. You don't want to, especially when you're backed up in your own end zone, you don't want to have to punt it again from this deep. You want to at least get a couple of first downs, because If not, you're punting it to about your side of the field.
Play will bring up 2nd and 8 for the Tennessee Heat.
No, it's good. It's good. You'll get it. You'll get it. How's you get your hands up?
Ball is spotted
2nd and
at the
7.
Heat 8-yard line.
Scott trying to coordinate an audible. And looks like some movement there, and there's rush again by Carter Sutton, tripped up in the backfield. It'll be 3rd and 10.
And off to number 48, Carter Sutton.
This is early in the game, but this is probably one of the biggest third downs that Tennessee Heat will have all night. As I was saying, they're about at their 4-yard line, and in these conditions, it's hard to punt. So if this punt may only go 20, 30 yards, and then if that happens, they have the ball at the 34, 24-yard line in position to score again.
7-yard line.
3rd down and 8. First quarter, but a big play needed here for the Tennessee Heat. Motion. Movement, scrambling. Corley brought down in the backfield. How about the big defensive play from Josh Madden?
What a sack there. Madden broke down. Madden broke down broke him down and went for the legs and took him down.
And you could see right there with scrambling, his offensive line tried to hold it there, but the senior just had to get through. 4th and 13. And a punt away, back to receive that goes to the right was Brandon Chun, but bounce goes all the way to the 34-yard line.
Heat number 44, Trace Aldrich.
About 4.5.
Spotted at the Colts
4:31 to be exact left to go.
It'll be 1st and 10 Colts
That was
from their own 34.
That was a great punt right there by the Heat, because that flipped the field positions. They were inside their own 3-yard line on that punt, and because of that punt, they flipped it all the way to the other 34-yard line.
4 minutes, 31 seconds to go in the first quarter.
We'll see what the Colts offense can do when they don't have an offensive possession on the 1-yard line. There's motion, ball loose with the rain, and immediately met in the backfield.
That'll be a tackle for
Carter
Sutton,
the extreme all-star for several years, gets the big play on 1st down.
What a read there. He ran right out. He got past the blocker, knew it was coming, and blew the play up before it had any way to do anything.
5 yards on the play, backs him up to
And now Christian Community has a tough situation to go with here.
30-yard line.
Although it's only a 5-yard loss at 2nd and 15, flag in the backfield. See if we can get a call from Mike Walker. Actually, no flag, just tossing back a towel to the sideline, and rush on the left side.
There's a fumble.
It's Will Adams fumble, waiting for the
There is a
ruling.
fumble on the play.
Waiting for the official word, and 3rd down. An interesting element. We're not experiencing it that much this year with. We're going to see it play out in some regards, but this is a different officiating crew from the Ronnie Perkins members. But if there's a pile situation like that under Ronnie Perkins, it's whoever comes out with the ball. In that case, they were able to see immediately who had it.
And that's one of the COVID precautions that the referees are taking this year to try and keep the referees safe and the players safe as well.
3rd and 17. Fake handoff. Right side, he's got some options. Toss on the right side into nowhere.
Batted down.
Batted by Goolsby. There's a flag.
It looks like it could be a late hit. Roughing the passer.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Call is roughing the passer against the Tennessee Heat.
From the previous spot. This penalty results in first down.
That
Big play and a big break for Christian Community.
That was huge. That was a great opportunity there for the Tennessee Heat to get good field position. But once he lets it go, you've got just pull up right there.
Down. Ball is spotted at the Heat 39-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Colts from the Heat 39.
So now across midfield. Just right in the middle, toss in the middle, left side, incomplete. pass intended. Looked like it was intended for Josh Madden on the left side, but incomplete.
That was a great route run there, and it was just out of the reach. Their gloves that they usually wear that, you know, they're really sticky nowadays. It catches almost anything. They're so wet now that it takes away that advantage.
Brandon Chun was the intended receiver on that, but difficult to get the catch in these conditions no matter what gloves you have. Even flypaper isn't able to be sticky in these conditions. Toss across the middle. It's intended. The catch is made. Big play for Asher Nix across to the 15-yard line and now in the red zone.
Caught by number 14, Asher Nix.
That was a great play action because they motioned that receiver again, and then fake handed off, step back, and there it was in the middle of the field, wide open. Got right behind Tennessee Heat secondary.
And Asher Nix has been a big contributor for Christian Community. He did it last year all the way on the route to the MTAC championship.
And we have a false start.
False start against the Colts. Ball was spotted at the Heat 17-yard line. That'll back them up 5 yards.
False start on the offense.
Going to bring up first and 15 from the Heat 22-yard line.
So you were right on that with a false start.
Just a little motion. And you'll have penalties like these because this is the first game, of course. They're still trying to work out the kinks. Mid-season form, in the mid-season form, you won't see this many.
And up the middle, rush back to the original line of scrimmage and a little bit more. Second down, and Goolsby on the tackle as the Colts tried to rush it up there. 2nd and 8. Gain of 7.
They ran that same formation and that same motion that they did on the pass, so the Tennessee Heat secondary stood back a little, causing CCS's running back to gain about 5 extra yards on the play.
Christian Community trying to get another score in to solidify their lead. Toss across the middle again, wide open in the end zone, incomplete, just outside of the reach. Unfortunately, Brandon Chun targeted for the second time and just can't pull it in. And again, it's these wet conditions that are resulting in that.
That might have even hit, I think that might have even hit his gloves.
Intended for number 6 is incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Colts.
Yeah, it just hit right off his hands. Looks like we have a timeout on the play.
And timeout called by the Tennessee Heat, and we're gonna step aside for just a moment. About 1:27 left to go in the first quarter of the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Back after the timeout, 3rd down and 7. Reversal, left side. See Brandon Chun getting the rush, going on the ground instead of the air, and gets positive yards for the Colts, but it's not enough for a first down.
He broke a few tackles there, and Hackle with the great tackle at the end, forcing this 4th down. And this is a big 4th down for the Tennessee Heat. This is almost a must stop.
And again, in this situation with Christian Community not having a kicker, it's more wise to just go for it on here, possibly give him a few more yards and leave the Tennessee Heat less room to work with on trying to get back over to the other side of the field.
All right, Heat fans, big 4th down. We need you to make some noise.
4th down and 3. The Heat Nation getting excited. And rush up the middle. It's Drew Belcher up the middle and touchdown. Christian Community up by 2.
What a run and what a call there. And the blocking and the blocking was absolutely incredible. So looks like gets the ball. It looks like they were running the option play and just ran right up the middle for an easy 6 points and a big conversion for CCS.
28 seconds left in the first quarter as another 2-point conversion attempt here to make it a 14-0 game.
It would appear the Colts are going for the 2-point conversion.
Handoff up the middle, and tries to dive for the goal line, and one rules it good, one rules it not good.
He stretched it out at the end there. I don't know if his knee was down yet.
They're going to have a discussion about it.
This is big.
This is one of those cases where instant replay might help, but it doesn't have quite the angle from this angle, but they rule it good on the field.
He was in. He was in. When he was going down, he stretched it right over the goal line. That was a great second effort there.
And great analysis by the officials to reconvene and call it a 2-point conversion. So now 14-0 Christian Community over the Heat, and they're going to go for another quick kickoff here. It looks like the rain is starting to subside just a little bit here at Charlie Daniels Park, and make that now 14-0. We'll see if the Heat can respond.
They were ready for the kickoff so quick, the referees aren't even in position.
Number 19, Josh Hackle, back deep for the Heat.
You have the timer that starts after the 2-point conversion. That doesn't mean you have to use all of it. So now from the 35. That is going to go out of bounds.
That went out of bounds.
That'll go out of bounds. I believe on the 40 by 80, they'll start this at the 30-yard line. And Heat with good field advantage going into this offensive drive.
Flag on the play is for the kickoff going out of bounds.
I know I've been saying this a lot, but this is almost a must-have touchdown here for the Heat. In these conditions, you can't get down to 22 points.
Looks like the ref might be having some issues there. It might be because of the rain getting on it, but maybe fixed later in the game, or might not be fixed until next game broadcast. But see how it goes from there. Thanks to Mike Walker for letting us mic him up for letting us have him mic'd up here for essentially the 8-man football kickoff game. 1st and 10. Motion again. Carter Sutton fakes with the handoff up the middle. Corley gets a gain of about 6-7 yards and a good positive rush almost to midfield.
And that was a great call. That was a great triple option there, as he kept it and gained about 5. As the CCS got the edge and was prepared for that sweep to the outside.
That's the end of the first. 14-0. Christian Community, a dominant lead in their first game of the season. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com as they help you to fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Welcome back. Second quarter starting between Christian Community and the Tennessee Heat. Spencer Tomset, Zachary Lone, and Jack Helwig bringing everybody the action here from Charlie Daniels Field in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Motion, field side's flipped, 2nd down and 5, toss across the left side, a little bit overthrown, almost intercepted. Perfect opportunity there, just slipped and couldn't get a grip on his feet. That was Seth Garrett who could have had the interception there, but again, these conditions just make it difficult to make a big play.
The slant was open there, but the ball slipped out of the quarterback's hand, causing it to go behind. As you can see, right over his head and right into the hand of the defender, but because of the wet conditions, the defender slipped, lost his footing, and caused him to drop that interception.
So now on a 3rd down and 6.
The referees, I think, are talking about the position of the ball, position of the chains, as the chains weren't completely stretched out.
So make that now a 3rd down and 5.
Tennessee Heat.
Corley tossed across the right, and again slipping. It's Aiden Luchtefeld could have made the play there if it were non-wet conditions. Just difficult there, 4th and 5, but Christian Community, it looked like he was almost left wide open there.
He was. The Christian Community's defense was playing a prevent defense there, trying to play the sticks. So the catch would have been caught short of the sticks, and CCS was there prepared to make the tackle as soon as he caught the ball.
So now on a 4th and 5.
4th and 4, Tennessee Heat from their own 36.
See if the Heat can convert it here, if they're going to do a sneak punt away. At this point, with being down 14-0, more than likely you'll see something going. Motion. Corley fakes it, fumble, and Christian Community falls on the ball again.
That is I'm pretty sure that's an incomplete pass. It was a shovel pass, and they weren't ready for the shovel pass. He had his eyes looking up downfield, trying to go ahead and find out where he was going with the ball before he caught it.
Ruled incomplete, and turnover on down. So Christian Community again having decent field advantage, trying to get another score in. You look at the replay, clearly a shovel pass there, and good call by Mike Walker and company.
It'll be 1st and 10 Colts from the Heat 36-yard line.
This is great field position. Oh,
fumble in the backfield, and good awareness in the backfield to get right there on the ball as Drew Belcher at it, and looks like we got an injured Colt on the field. His teammates help him back up, actually, but just a little bit shooken up was Jacob Downs, but 2nd down and long.
That was great awareness there to go ahead and fall on that ball, because when you're up 14, you can't afford to let that become a turnover. So that was really heads up on him. Just go ahead and fall on it, take the loss, and get ready for 2nd down.
So 2nd and 10, some of the linemen a little bit anxious and ready to go on that play. We're going to see Alone in the shotgun, maybe a motion. Motion by Chun, and so reversal there, and tripped up in the backfield is that's Aaron Malham. He's tripped up for another loss, so now 3rd down and 20. You talk about a situation where the Heat know they have to make a play, that's one right there.
That was one. When he ran into his own blocker, which helped the Tennessee Heat, but being able to capitalize on top of that, because sometimes when that happens, you get out of your rushing lane, causing another lane to become open. So for them to stay in their rushing lanes and be able to pounce on them in the backfield causes a huge 3rd and about 20. They're about 20, 25.
3rd and 22 for the Colts.
So the Colts trying to go for a deep pass on the right side, overthrown as that could have been an interception there over Ryan Schroeder, but Christian Community trying to get something there and just didn't work out for him.
And there, if he did throw interceptions, it's almost like a punt. So he went ahead and he forced it in there, which his stat sheet, probably he wouldn't be happy about his stat sheet, but it was the right play to do.
After this punt, we have 2 other games going on in 8-man football. We'll get an update in just a moment after the punt here. Actually, maybe a little bit delayed after the punt there, and a good punt, and off of the hands there. He's got to get to it. Loose, and still loose. Looks like the Tennessee Heat finally fell on it. That just shows how the rainy conditions make it really difficult. You have 2 or 3 other Colts members in that radius. Would have been a turnover on downs. And as you can see here, Zach, it's just difficult to make the grip.
And as you can see, when he goes to, when the Tennessee Heat second guy comes to pick the ball up, he slips falling backwards, which was good for the Tennessee Heat to get back and get on it. But it was almost a really, really costly turnover.
Next break, we'll get that update for the other games going around 8-man football. And here's an offensive play for the Tennessee Heat, weaving through. Nice defensive play and awareness. 2 players bringing him down from the Colts. Chun and Adams teamed up to stop him.
Yes, but that's about the game that you want on first down for the Tennessee Heat. You gain about 3-4 yards, and in the position you're in, if you gain 3-4 yards every play, you end up getting the first downs.
And you mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, trying to control the tempo of the game. Christian Community, that's one of the things they mastered, is to force, especially in this situation, you force the ball on the ground, the clock's going to keep running down and down, especially when you're 2 scores up.
Yes, and what also goes into that is it's raining, so it's harder for someone to call a pass play knowing that there's so much unknown.
Handoff, right side. Luchtefeld gets to the outside. Can he get through? Meets at about the 32-yard line, and a great first down for Aiden Luchtefeld.
See, CCS did a great job there of setting the edge, but the spin move caused the first guy to miss, and after that, he running back lowers his shoulder and gains the extra yards to get his first down. He still stayed up. He just ran out of bounds.
So now on a 1st and 10, the Heat marching down the field looking for their first score of the game and first touchdown of 2020.
1st and 10, Tennessee Heat.
First and 10, handoff up the middle. There goes Carter Sutton. When you try to stop that big man, you got to have 2 guys to bring him down, and that's exactly what Christian Community did. Nix helping on the tackle, and right at midfield, 3 yards short of the first down.
And these are the plays that Tennessee Heat were looking for to start the game. The big play potential that the Heat always bring. That all of a sudden they go from inside their own 20 to the 50-yard line, to the 40-yard line in a matter of 2 plays.
Trying to march down the field, taking a decent amount of time with them as well. The Colts defense tries to recoup. Pass, scramble, he's got some options, and the ball is loose. Christian Community is going to fall on it. Asher Nix with great awareness, and just goes unfortunately for the Tennessee Heat there, but great awareness by the Colts defense and a turnover on downs.
On the replay, I think you can see when he starts to scramble, he has a lane, but the defender did a great job of putting his helmet on the ball, causing the fumble there.
One of the most powerful tools you can use to force a fumble is the crown of the helmet, just as long as it is not intentional targeting.
Yes. That was a great form tackle there. And when you put your helmet on the football here, you're almost bound to force a fumble. It's so wet out here.
Still in their own territory, 39-yard line, 1st and 10 for Christian Community. As Belcher scrambles, weaves past 2 defenders, loses the ball. Can the Heat fall on it? They do! Turnover on downs. What a moment of events.
That is a huge forced fumble there by the Tennessee Heat, as he looked like he was bound to gain about 5-10 yards after he breaks the contain by the Tennessee Heat. and he batted the ball out right when the Tennessee player batted the ball out as the juke was occurring, and the ball was exposed, and the bat ended up forcing the fumble.
So now Tennessee Heat on the 35-yard line. They have new life on trying to get a touchdown. 7:15 left to go in the half. And scramble in the backfield. Nix is going to bring him down, but there is a flag.
I think that might be a horse collar or maybe even a roughing the passer on the play.
See if we can get a call there. This microphone might be dead. Yeah. So we'll just see if we could hear the penalty calls. Looks like the ref's microphone is going through the elements.
That was a great play there to get pressure on the quarterback, but you have to understand where your hands are there, because that
brings up first and
gave
5 for the Tennessee
him
Heat.
15 more yards instead of a 2nd and 20.
30-yard line.
So now a 1st down and 4 on the 30-yard line. 7 minutes of winding down. Toss right side intended for Sutton, incomplete. Sutton just tripped up on the turf there.
Carter Sutton is incomplete.
And he did a great job there of creating separation. He just, on his cut, his right foot looked like it slipped on the wet conditions.
So again, facing a 2nd down and 4. Second and 4. Heat fan base going crazy.
They understand the magnitude of this drive.
And
Do we have a delay of game? Oh, we have.
flags down.
False start against the Tennessee Heat.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, it's still 2nd down.
Well, Mike's working now. Just reminds me of the quote from Wes McCauley. Mike's not working. Oh, there it is. To make that a 2nd down and 8.
I think he just forgot to turn the mic on that time.
Sutton in motion. And it'll be a run by Aldrett. It's tripped up by the defense there. And gain of about 2 yards for 3rd down.
And that was great contained there by the defensive line of Christian Community, because if he would have bounced that one out, he was almost gone. He only had one man to beat.
About a yard on the play.
About 6 minutes, 30 seconds left to go before halftime. And coming up on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report, we will give our thoughts and analysis of what we've seen in the first half, including how the effect of the lightning delay has had on sort of the momentum of the game. And we'll maybe talk a little bit about what Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay are going to be doing for our fan base for this season. And time is called by Christian Community. CCS calls the timeout here with 6 minutes, 6 seconds left to go. We'll keep it on the Be Right Back screen, but please welcome into the broadcast booth. He will be at other games for us later on the year, but Mr. James Shannon with today's scoring update.
What's up, boys? How are we doing? Check it out. So after the show Sunday, we actually found out that the Freedom Cowboys had a game Friday night, tonight, against Lighthouse Homeschool. They're right there out of Alabama, same conference as Evangel Christian and Ezekiel Academy. I'm not going to give any spoilers there. But anyway, so they got a game going on. 53 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Cowboys get a pick 6, 60-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion, no good. The score right now, Freedom 40, Lighthouse 24.
Thank you, James, and we'll have updates from him throughout the season. He'll be joining us remotely from our different software.
This is as we're gearing up for a big 3rd down for the Heat. if they score before halftime, it has to give them a lot of momentum going into the break.
For the Tennessee Heat.
3rd down and 6. Score here is exactly what the Heat fan base wants. They want their first touchdown of the game. Catch by Luchtefeld. Luchterfeld's got a path. Luchtefeld to the 20-yard line. And an amazingly executed play as they're just outside the red zone.
What blocking there on that play? Because it was a screen pass, and as you can see, this Christian Community defense, offensive line, and it would open up a huge 3rd down conversion for the Tennessee Heat.
It'll be 1st and 10 Heat.
Plenty of time for the Heat to try and get the score in here. But we'll see if Tommy Thornton's defense has anything to say about it. 1st and 10 on the 20. Right side. There's Trace Aldrett. Gain of about 7, 8 yards. Another nice gain by Tennessee Heat.
And that was a great tackle by number 17.
By number 17,
Jason Schrum there, because if he would have broken that tackle, he was gone for a touchdown.
2nd and 1, Tennessee Heat.
Making about a 2nd and 2, just short of the 1st down marker, and handoff to Sutton. He's going to get the 1st down a little bit more. Carter Sutton, touchdown, Tennessee Heat. Their first score of 2020 comes from the junior, the several-time All-Star.
Carter Sutton from number 12, Matthew Corley.
And as you can see on the handoff, as CSC overcommitted there to the outside, trying to set that edge, and ended up overcommitting, and it was just an easy walk-in touchdown there.
The score is
now, it's a good thing James Shannon isn't on air, because if he was, he'd be talking about how neither team has a field goal kicker. Because everybody knows about James Shannon and his obsession with field goal kickers, but we won't see any of that tonight.
I mean, they are a big part of the game.
So motion there, and we'll see if they can get a 2-point conversion in. Aldrett trying to push through. Colts defense meets him 14-6 with 4:38 left to go in the half. As Christian Community, their lead has been shaved by 8.
What penetration, though, there by the CCS defensive line right there. Because you had 3 tacklers there by the time he got the ball. They ran right through the Tennessee Heat offensive line. But that was a huge score there. Give them at least a little momentum going into half. And it's still reachable. But now Tennessee Heat has to stop them here if they want to keep this momentum.
Christian Community, after scoring 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, seeing what they're doing here with the...
Oh, they ran onto the wrong sides. It's week 1. It's week 1.
It's time. This is the perfect time to work out all the kinks.
Back deep for the Colts is number 6, Miles Bernard. Kicking for the Heats, number 7, Aiden Luchtefeld.
It looks like the rain is just going to really light drizzling, and no winds, no lightning ever since that one strike. It's just a beautiful night now at Charlie Daniels Park. A little bit soggy on the grass down there, but nothing too much the players are having an issue with. And through the hands of the Colts, and trying to get the return is immediately met by the Heat defense at about the 10-yard line.
Tackle made by Heat number 80, Andrew Corley.
I'm sure we'll get this stat line in a little bit, but it's been a while since the Tennessee Heat have gotten a win against Christian Community actually, per the stats lines, the Tennessee Heat have never beaten Christian Community in their 13-year history. And what's looking like right now at 14 and 6, it's going to be an intense matchup, especially with the conditions that they're in. But we'll see what the Colts can respond with on that touchdown. 1st and 10. A handoff on the right side. Gets tripped up. Trip up for Will Adams trying to go to the right as Hackle gets the defensive stop.
That was a great tackle by Hackle because without that tackle, he was gone. There was no one catching up to him. Hackle was the last line defense on that right side of the football.
18-yard line.
Gain of 5 for Will Adams. And double motion, false start.
False start on the Colts. That'll back them up 5 yards.
A little bit faint to hear on the system here, but as you can tell, false start.
Spotted at the Colts 13-yard line. 2nd and 10, Colts. 3 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the first half.
Adams there thought they were going on one.
Just a miscue. Right side. There goes Will Adams again.
There's a
ball
fumble.
loose. Did Will Adams fall on it?
Fumble on the play.
Or was it Goolsby?
Colts number 7.
Adams did
Fumble
recover.
was recovered by number 7.
Signal for a 3rd down.
And now you're looking at CCS, and this is a almost must convert. All the momentum has shifted to the Heat all of a sudden.
Gain of 1 on the play brings up 2nd and 9, Colts.
Correction, I said 3rd down. It was 2nd down because of the false start, so 2nd and 9. Trying to convert it here. Left side looking for the pass. Toss over and incomplete.
Pass intended for
Nix.
Incomplete.
I think he just dropped his
Broken
there
up by number 44, Trace Aldridge.
as number 44
That'll bring up 3rd
was in
and
the
9
area.
for the Colts.
Trace Aldridge getting the stop up there on Nix and forces a 3rd down.
Excuse me, 4th and 9 for the Colts.
Oh, it is 4th.
So they actually, I guess I was right when I said the 3rd down there. So 4th down and 9 there, the referees got it adjusted. It was just the down indicator. So now 4th down and 9.
Bring it up just a hair.
Bring one up this
Like, don't get so much of their sideline. Bring it up just a hair. Good. Try to keep it
Josh Hackle back to receive.
And punted away, almost blocked. Back to receive, Josh Hackle. Gets the pickup right side. He's got some open field. Can Josh Hackle do it? Staying on the right side. Josh Hackle into the end zone. Punt return for a touchdown.
Punt return by Josh Hackle. That brings the score, Colts 14, Tennessee Heat 12.
Aaron Malham was trying to chase him down, but perfect tackling by the Tennessee teammates. Yep, it's on the return team. Whenever you see a punt or kick return, you always have to look. Where's a flag, if any? So see if you could find where the flag is.
But that means the score is 14-6. The officiating crew says that Josh
Unfortunate
stepped
play
out of
there
bounds
for the
right at the
unfortunate play there for the
25-yard line. So it'll be 1st and
Tennessee
10
Heat on that
Colts.
block
Adjusted to
there,
the
but
Heat from
lucky
the
break for the Colts on what would have been a return for a
25-yard
touchdown.
line.
They only got 25 yards to go to get it done. I formation. Motion from Sutton. Pitch left side. Goolsby.
Pitch for Matthew Corley
Maybe
to
about a
Trace
7-yard
Aldridge.
gain on there. As Aldred, the carrier of the ball, give an 8-yard gain.
of around 7 on the play brings up 2nd and 3 for the Heat.
Heat marching down the field, trying to pop another score in, maybe tie it up against CCS here. Fake pitch again, up the middle. Even fooled me for a second. Up the middle, Carter Sutton with the rush, and first down as they get into the red zone. If it even fools the camera guy, you know it's a well-constructed play.
That is a Tennessee Heat first down. It'll be 1st and 10 Heat from the Colts 12-yard line.
So it looked like Luchtefeld went to the sideline there. We'll see what the Heat are going with as they got Aldrett and Sutton in the backfield. Hand off to Aldrett. Up the middle. Good work by the CCS defensive line. That was Josh Madden, the senior, who met him immediately at the 10-yard line, and time called.
Timeout, Tennessee Heat.
Heat call a timeout here. So 59 seconds left to go in the first half, and
59
we'll
seconds
be back
to
in
go
just a
the
few
first
moments.
half. Seconds to go in the first half.
About 60 seconds left. Heat trying to get a score on a second down on the 9-yard line. About a second down at 6 with motion. They got Aldred and Sutton in the backfield again. Pitch to Aldred, it's a reversal. Up the middle, right down, Josh Hackle. Short of the line to gain, but fortunately it's a third down, but that CCS defense in desperation mode getting a much needed stop.
Brings up 3rd and 2 for the Tennessee Heat. Ball is spotted around the Colts 5-yard line. 3rd and 2, Tennessee Heat.
And up the middle, short of the end zone, but that'll make it a 1st and goal. So it turns out,
has stopped.
Sorry, Zachary. I was going to say, it turns out that we could hear you on our amps, but it wasn't sending out to the broadcast. I don't know how long that was for, but but now you are heard to the audience. So tell them what you saw on that play.
So on that play before, the previous play on the reverse, it was a great defensive play to stop that up. Because if you look at that, watch that play, the whole left side of CCS's defense stayed in position and was ready for that tackle and was ready for that play.
So I believe another timeout was called by the Heat. 18 seconds left to go in the first half. And it's enough for 2, maybe 3 plays.
If you're the Heat, this is exactly what you want. You didn't want to give the Colts the ball back before the half. And if so, you want to give them as little time as possible where they can't methodically drive down the field and they're trying to get them out of their game of trying to take shots.
You want to score here, and you receive for the second half.
Yes.
Perfect position.
Yes.
So 18 seconds left. And again, the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report
First and
coming
goal,
up.
Tennessee Heat from the Colts.
Whistle
2-yard
blown on
line.
the sideline. Christian Community calls a
Timeout,
timeout.
Colts.
Back-to-back timeouts there.
Tennessee, the Colts did not like what they saw there coming out of the timeout. That was a quick timeout, too.
First and goal for the Tennessee Heat from the Colts.
Here we go.
As
18 seconds.
The Heat brought out their heavy package, so expect a run up to the middle or to the right.
First and goal on about the 2-yard line, maybe the 1.5. Heat in the exact position they want to be. Quarterback sneak up the middle. Actually, it's fake at the left side. The catch, is it?
Oh, he dropped it.
Incomplete.
He dropped it. What a great play call there by the Heat.
Was incomplete.
And
That'll bring up second and
what
goal.
a
Tennessee
block
Heat
there
from the Colts 2-yard
after
line.
the play fake.
You just look at this. That even, again,
Oh, what?
that faked me out. And you
And
can't
then-
see it from that angle, but the official on the side, best angle on that, so he made the call that he saw.
And this is the least amount it's been raining all day. But these balls are so slick, as we've mentioned many times, that it's hard to catch it. It's hard to catch these.
12 seconds left on the game clock.
Second and goal.
So
Tennessee
plenty of
Heat
time
from
for the
Colts
Heat to have at
2-yard
least
line.
2 more plays here.
As they also, I think they still have a timeout in their back pocket.
Second and goal. They're doing the same heavy package set here. Toss right side, incomplete. Incomplete.
Pass intended for
No
Brandon
pass interference.
Goolsby is
I think they
incomplete. That'll
ruled
bring up third and
that
goal,
was either
Tennessee
too
Heat.
high to catch or it didn't interfere with the play itself.
Probably uncatchable.
Because as we learned last week at the scrimmage game, it
9
doesn't matter
seconds
if
to
you
go
have
in the first
contact
half.
or if you're standing in front of them, as long as you don't interfere with the receiver itself.
Third and goal.
So here we are,
Tennessee
third
Heat
and
from the
goal,
Colts
8
2-yard
seconds.
line, 9 seconds to go in the first half.
You have 2 more plays because you had that timeout still.
And
Timeout,
CCS
Colts.
calls another timeout. Flanders wanted to
Timeout,
talk it over with
Colts.
his defense. Well, Flanders and Thornton wanted to talk it over.
What you couldn't see on the broadcast there was Aiden Lutchfield and Josh Hackle was down beside the goal line, so they switched out of their package while CCS was still trying to get in their heavy package. So CCS was in their heavy package, so it was a great timeout there by the Colts.
And just a quick look on the middle of the field, if you didn't notice it already, Charlie Daniels Park going all out with that Tennessee Heat logo in the middle of the field with the TH symbol. If they had the firing snowball, that would have been incredible as well, but they have the TH regardless. Incredible stuff for Tennessee Heat. First time they've had that ever at their home field. So 8 seconds to go. They could maybe have 2 plays here.
An average play takes about 6 seconds, so unless this is something where
Third
they
and
have to
goal,
run
Tennessee
around
Heat
they
from the
like, they
Colts
should have
2-yard
time for
line,
one more
9
if they don't
seconds to
score
go in
here.
the game. The first half.
Third and goal. Third and goal. Corley, toss across the right side, incomplete. 3
Pass
seconds
intended
left,
for
so
number 7,
exactly
Aiden
right.
Lutterfield is incomplete.
One play more to try and get a score here, and you would think in this case they want to put it on the ground because of how much in the air with the slippery grip.
3 seconds to go in the first half.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have their quarterback roll out to the right and have Goolsby run a little slant down the middle and see what happens there.
4th and goal, Corley. 3 seconds to give. Looking for a toss again. Left side. Incomplete.
He dropped.
Passes
Incomplete. Had it between his hands and couldn't make the catch. End of the first half. But still a close game, a one-possession game, 14-6. The Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report coming up in 30 seconds. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Welcome to the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report. Up, Spencer Thompson. That's the future broadcasting Hall of Famer Zachary Lone. 14-6. 14-6 right now. It is 8:39. An hour and a half ago the game started. Normally we would be into the third quarter, but of course the lightning delay. Let's talk about how that happened, because first possession of the game, Christian Community didn't score. The Heat looked like they were containing them on defense, but after that, lightning scores directly in a row for Christian Community. That the lightning had a huge effect on the Heat's momentum.
They did. The Heat came out and did exactly what they wanted to. They came out and forced a 3-and-out and a punt. But because of the lightning delay, it ruined all their momentum, and CCS was able to come out and game plan. And as you can see, the next 2 drives that the Colts had, they were methodical, planned out, and Heat couldn't stop them.
Yeah, the Heat had a difficult time trying to get that going, but Christian Community, they've done almost everything right aside from the one score they had there, but they've contained them on defense on that second drive. Much needed to prevent a 2 scores in a row situation for the Heat. Christian Community's defense, what have they got to do to hold out this game?
The Christians, they have to be ready for the passing attack, because towards the end of the second quarter, Tennessee Heat brought that out, and you could tell there were some holes in the secondary that the Colts had. And if they can keep exploiting that, and if the conditions dry up a little like it looks like it's going to, the balls will be a little more dry and easier to catch. All of a sudden, it's a completely different ball game.
It could be a completely different ball game in the second half. And quick note for you on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report. We'll announce it on Sunday, but starting next week, you will have the ability to get a discounted ticket to Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay, as they are halftime sponsor for this season. We'll go more in depth with that as we get into next week. But for now, we have about 4 minutes left until halftime is over, maybe a little bit more because of it being taken from the lightning delay. So about 3 minutes, we'll get back to the start of the game. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week continues in just a few moments. Welcome back to Charlie Daniels Park. Start of the second half, and of course, because of the lightning delay, a short halftime for both teams. 14-6. The Tennessee Heat keeping it close, not getting the score that they wanted on that last drive of the first half. However, they do receive the second half kickoff, so we'll see how it goes. Lone and Jack Helwig all up here in the booth in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, as an onside kick attempt, and ball caught immediately, fallen on by Wyatt Hill. Good awareness and just a good field advantage situation for the Tennessee Heat. We'll see what they can do on offense here, Zach.
Yeah, way to be ready there for the Heat right there, because starting the second half, Colts had all the momentum, seeing if they could capitalize on it. So they went ahead and tried the onside, but the Heat were ready. But this is a must-score drive here for the Heat, because you don't want to give the Colts all the momentum.
So now on a first down, toss to the right side. Nice catch made by Josh Hackle. I believe they ruled forward progress just short of the first down marker, but a 9-yard reception by the senior Hackle.
That was a nice throw and a nice catch. The throw was perfectly on target where only his receiver can catch it. If it was any further to the left, that's an interception. Any further to the right, that's an incomplete pass. And the timing, you could tell, was down there, because right when he took his slant route, right as soon as he made the cut, the pass was there.
Matthew Corley with a perfect reception. Or excuse me, perfect pass to have that perfect reception occur as Corley tosses it. Nice catch by Trace Aldred, gets the first down and a little bit more. Of course, across midfield already, but inching closer and closer to the end zone.
That was what a great time to call a screen pass there, because it was 2nd and 1. You had 2 more downs to get the first down if it failed, but they ended up it was a great play, and they gained about 2 yards off of it for the first down.
It's 1st and 10, Tennessee.
The Tennessee Heat always get stuck in these tough situations, as I'd have to look at even more in-depth statistics to know if the Tennessee Heat have ever led the Colts in their 12. Now with this game, it'll be a 13-year history, as Aldred, right side, pushes through, but that cold defense won't let him go through. Will Adams on the initial tackle.
What CCS is doing great right now is staying in their rushing lanes. That's a product of great coaching right there. They're not over-committing or over-pursuing, which is why you see big plays happen. They're staying in their lanes and letting the game kind of come to them.
2nd and 7, Tennessee.
Again, Tommy Thornton, the champion head coach, one of the many long tenure coaches around the Middle Tennessee Athletic Conference in 8-man football. Toss to the left side, and the catch is made. Carter Sutton on the first down and gets just past the 20-yard line and into the red zone as the Heat looking to get another score.
And this is a great drive that the Heat's putting together right now. They are a great mixture of running and passing, and as you can tell, the conditions have dried up, and there are better passes being thrown, and it's easier to catch because the ball's not as wet.
You're seeing more comfortable moves being made with no rain in sight. It's just the field a little bit wet, but every player comfortable with passing it here. Corley almost brought down in the backfield, finally brought down with the second tackle. Great move by Brandon Chun to get the sack and bring it to, I believe, 2nd down.
That was great pass rush there by the Colts. They weren't able to bring him down the first time, but the reinforcements were there, and there was no way he was getting out of that one.
16 for the Tennessee Heat.
So now on a 2nd and 15, although a loss on the play, the Tennessee Heat seeing what they could do. Diaz on the sideline, Aiden Diaz taken out there, and motion by Sutton. And handoff to Carter Sutton. He finds an opening. Carter Sutton staying on his feet. No flags on the play. down to about the 2-yard line. Carter Sutton with a great game.
What a run there. He lowered his shoulder and kept running, and he broke those two tackles, as you're about to see. What left tackle there? What a block. And the last CCS defender was able to bring him down. Now, this is where Tennessee Heat has to capitalize. At the end of the first half, they weren't able to score here.
So on a 1st and goal on about the 1-yard line, the Tennessee Heat have a chance to get within 2 points, potentially tie it. That Christian Community defense has a chance to make a big stand here, especially late in the game. Corley under center. Handoff. And Aldred gets stuffed by that defensive line.
What penetration there by the inter defenders there on the defensive line. They were able to bull rush the center and was able to be in the backfield right as soon as the handoff was given.
No loss on the play.
1st and goal on about the 1-yard line.
Of the Colts. 2nd and goal, Tennessee Heat.
They adjust the marker there, 2nd and goal. And there's Aldred. He's got an opening. Is he going to get into the end zone? Touchdown.
There is a flag. Holding on the outside is what I think. I think it was number 62 on that play.
And that is not going to work. So you're right on that holding. Apologize for that mic pop there for those who heard it. We'll see if we can get that microphone fixed either off broadcast. Might have been with the rain that hit that receiver. Possible we could be getting a new referee lapel mic system. But about 6:57 and winding down. Make that 6:50 as it continues to wind when they move back the ball. So now 2nd and goal on the 11-yard line.
And that most of the time holdings are kind of unnecessary. That one was necessary because if not, they were going to be tackled in the backfield.
And goal from the Colts 11-yard line.
And Corley across the middle, overthrew his man, Brandon Goolsby, trying to make the catch. Could have been a clear touchdown there, but now 3rd down and goal.
What a great fake there. They faked that toss that they ran the play before, and Goolsby just released, and no one was there. The throw was rushed, and it was right over Goolsby's hands, right off the top of him. Now, these are 2 big downs in this game.
Especially with about 6 minutes left to go.
It is 3rd and goal.
About 6:12 on the clock. It stopped with that incompletion. So we see what the Heat are going to do. 3rd and goal. They like to have Sutton in motion in the backfield. Fake handoff to Aldred. Corley scrambling. He's got defensive people flag in the backfield. And Corley gets gain on the play.
I think there is another flag. But see, will they accept it? That's the thing. If they accept it, it's going to be 3rd and about 23. 3rd and 23, 24. But if they decline it, you have 4th and 8.
Explaining it to Flanders. We'll see if the mic still busted there. We'll just have to interpret the hand signals, which we're very familiar with the holding call back on Christian Community.
And they did accept it.
Tennessee Heat. Sorry, Zach.
Oh, no, you're good. So they did accept it. So Tennessee Heat now has 2 downs to get 25 yards.
Back up to about the Colts 26-yard line.
Get 26 yards.
3rd and goal on the 26-yard line. They at least have 2 chances to score.
They do have 2 chances to score, but this is a long 26 yards.
It's a long 3rd and goal.
It's a long 3rd and goal. It just must feel longer, though, because of the holding call initially.
Barring any defensive penalties, 2 chances to score. Corley with motion, looking for his options. He's got right side, underthrew his man Luchtefeld, incomplete.
Pass intended
And
for number 7.
Luchtefeld was open there, but the throw was just a little underthrown.
26-yard line.
It was a little underthrown, and that could just be a timing issue. Like we said, first game of the year, it's been wet all day. You haven't really had time to get your footing and your timing down with your receivers.
On a 4th and goal, much needed. .524 left on the game clock for the third.
Heat from the Colts 26-yard line.
Watch
See
for
what they can do.
Goolsby at the top of the screen. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. He has one-on-one coverage. I wouldn't be surprised for him to try and throw it up to him right here.
Sutton with motion. The defense pressuring. Deep toss towards the end zone. Incomplete. Incomplete. No pass interference. The Heat fans do not like that.
Pass intended for number 14, Brandon Goolsby, is incomplete.
Right. Go back right there.
Coach Scott protesting this as well, but
That did look like it was pass interference because he didn't give him a chance to come back towards the ball. But there's nothing they can do now. If you're the Heat, you can't risk a 15-yard penalty right here. 15-yard penalty puts them all the way up to about
That's
the
1st and 10 for the Colts.
40-yard line to midfield.
From their own 26-yard line.
and time called.
By the Heat.
Timeout called by the Heat. So with 5:16 left to go in the third, we have our first break of the half as Christian Community will take over on offense.
The 26-yard line.
So now a 1st and 10. Coach Scott had a conversation with Walker on the sideline. Looked pretty civil. Of course, frustrated that he didn't get the call, but managed to keep it civil, as you hope every coach and referee has an interaction with there. And little bit of a fumble on the catch there, on the snap there. But Drew Belcher manages to make something of nothing and gets a gain of about 2-3 yards.
And as you can tell, it is starting to rain again. So that could have caused that fumbled snap. But what great recognition there to catch it, see the open left side of the field, and get about 2 yards on the play.
So now a 2nd down and 8. Just an ahead reminder for you on the post-game report, even during the pouring rain, we'll be testing out for the first time for the post-game. We'll go down on the field. I'm not sure if they'll be doing the post-game handshakes. We'll talk about that in a second as rush up the middle by Will Adams. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of a yard for 3rd down. But coming up on the post-game report, we will go down on the field for the first time on broadcast with our handheld mics. Hopefully get an interview with Coach Ryan Scott or Coach Jordan Flanders, whichever coach is victorious here on the night. And we'll wrap up the game as we usually do, but we'll do it from field where you guys can see it on here instead of having to go to Instagram Live.
Big 3rd down here. Oh, false start. False start.
And flag down and
false start against the Colts.
You have
That's going to be Miles Bernard for Christian
And
Community.
Aaron Mellum, I'm pretty sure, were the two that
Aaron Malham, if he was
Aaron
34,
Malham.
yep.
Yeah, Aaron Malham were the two that
Bringing up third
left a little early on that play.
and 12, a little more than 12.
So
for
about
the
third down and
Colts.
13 for Christian Community as the clock continues to run. And with a third down here, again, this is one of these stops that the Heat have to make. And
This
ball
is
muffed
muffed.
to the backfield, picked up. Good reaction by Belcher. Tossed it to the right side and incomplete. He looked like he was
Pass
falling
intended
for the
for
catch.
34 is
Fortunately,
incomplete.
beating himself up over it, but now fourth down.
He was on the sideline there, so he was trying to keep his feet in
12
bounds.
for the Colts.
But after that muff snap, as you can see, he brings the ball down and he doesn't panic under pressure. And as you can tell, he tried to get the toe drag on the sidelines there, but it was just out of his reach. Big stop there by the Heat.
Aaron Malham, the intended receiver on that. So with some of those catches you see from your perspective in the helmet, you think you have it, but just a little bit off there.
Colts.
So Christian Community will take the choice to punt it away, and a low squib punt as goes all the way out of bounds across the field to about the 37-yard line. As Tennessee Heat,
Punt goes out of
their
bounds
task
at
now,
about the
march down the field, get a
37-yard
score so
line.
that they're not
So it'll be
as
first and
down.
10 Heat.
They've marched down the field the past
From their
two
own 37.
drives. They just can't finish off the drive, which they need to finish off the next one they're down there, or you risk giving up another 6 points and going down 20-6, or even worse, 22-6.
The Heat defense has managed to hold Christian Community to only 14, where in the past their scores have been very one-sided. But in this case, we will
It'll be
definitely
first and
see
10
how it all
Tennessee
goes
Heat
down.
From their own 37-yard line.
I believe this is one of the closest score games thus far that we have ever had for Christian Community and the Tennessee Heat. On first and 10, a run up the middle. Aldred weaving through the defense. He's getting past some tackles. How about Aldred staying on his feet? Finally brought down by two players at the 25-yard line. Aldred with an incredible run. First down.
Once he got past that first defensive wave, there was a huge burst of speed, as you were about to see. What blocking right now by the interior lineman. And then right here, he just turns on the jets, gets to the outside, and drags defenders for about 6-7 more yards at the end.
Those kind of moves are exactly what you want in your fullbacks or running backs, and just a great move right there by the senior who is trying to get his team back in it and give them a chance to tie it up.
And the Heat have hung around this game. They really have. Whenever they needed to stop, they've gotten to stop. And CCS, to their credit, every time they've needed to stop, they've gotten to stop. This is a great defensive matchup we have right now.
And toss to the right side, incomplete, intended for Sutton.
That was that screen pass,
Intended for
and
Carter Sutton is incomplete.
once those blockers ran to
That'll bring up
got to the
second
second
and 10
level,
for the Tennessee
the
Heat from the Colts'
the
24-yard
fake
line.
handoff took too much time, and he didn't have enough. The quarterback didn't have enough time to set his feet and throw it, so he was throwing off his back foot.
A second down. Look at the 25-yard line as the Tennessee Heat after that quick play. Players on the sideline getting their fans to get excited. And again, the rain has subsided a little bit here. So the Heat trying to make a miracle happen. Charlie Daniels Park. Right side, Carter Sutton weaves out a tackle, staying on his feet.
Hand off to number 48,
Making about
Carter
third down
Sutton.
and 4 coming up.
Josh Madden right there did a great job of fending off his block, but Carter Sutton lowered his shoulder,
Gain of
got past
7 on
him,
the
and
play,
got
brings
about
up
4
3rd
more
and
yards.
3 for the Tennessee Heat.
Carter Sutton's been skilled to do that. Major reason why he's been an all-star for several times this season, or several times throughout his career.
And it makes this third and manageable.
Third and manageable as Toss on the right side, incomplete,
Pass
intended for Goolsby. Just went through his hands, but good coverage by the Colts defense.
When he made his cut there, he slipped on the grass, and when he was getting up was when the throw was coming, so he wasn't able to grab his balance back before he had to make an effort for that play.
Clock reads 1:07 for the third quarter, and time winding down as, again, in this situation on a 4th down, the Heat obviously have to go for it without having a field goal kicker, but especially in this case with only about 13 minutes left in the game, another one that's crucial.
4th and 3, Tennessee Heat.
Motion again. Corley toss it. He's got his man open. Here's Aldrett. Gets past the men and is going to get the first down. Much needed. And for Trace Aldrett, the senior, is leading the Heat well.
And on this replay, you can see Corley gets pressure in his face. And he's calm and throws it right over the defenders. And they gain about 7-8 yards. But they need this. They have to score here. This is where they haven't been able to convert today. They've had 2 touchdowns called back. One by the block in the back and the other by the holding.
It will be 1st and goal from the Colts 9.
.21 seconds and winding down left in the third. Are they going to switch sides of the field before the score, or can they get it here?
He fumbled the snap.
And muff the snap. Colts defense immediately meets him there. And with the clock winding down, that is going to be the end of the third quarter. We have a close one here in Mount Juliet, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville, as well as Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Coach Jordan Flanders, 42-15 in his 6th season overall. Appeared in 4 of the last 5 MTAC championships. Has only brought home 1 in 2018, but looking to change that around this season as they start out this game not in conference, but go towards the MTAC playoffs. Spencer Tomset, Zachary Lone, and Jack Helwig bringing you this amazing kickoff to 8-man football across the Southeast region. Tennessee Heat down by 8 at their home turf against the Christian Community School Colts. Again, the Tennessee Heat have never beaten Christian Community in their rival history. Will that change tonight? We got 12 minutes to figure that out. But with a 2nd and goal on the 10-yard line with the field swapped, it's going to be incredible to see. It's going to be incredible to see if that can be pulled off.
Going back to Coach Flanders, I'd say that's a pretty good resume.
Pretty good. It's incredible. And he's managed to actually correct it. 1 state championship, but also 1 national championship in 2017, which nothing to be too shy about within the course of 5 seasons.
Which means that CCS has been in a lot of these close games.
Mm-hmm. They've had this situation before. Pitch to Aldrett, left side. He's got some men to block. Can he weave through? Aldrett staying on his feet. Not into the end zone quite, about to the 3-yard line, but Aldrett getting them a little bit closer on 3rd and goal.
By number 6 and number 2 of the Colts. Ball is spotted at the Colts 3-yard line. It'll be
Off
third
this
and goal from the
sweep,
Colts
look at the
3.
block and watch Aldrich lower his shoulder right there and gain that extra 2 yards. It doesn't 2 yards doesn't seem like much, but when you're down this close to the goal line, it's a whole lot.
So about on the 3-yard line for third and goal.
From the Colts 3.
Again, Aldred and Sutton, the Heat really like on their offense to have them in the backfield, and for good reason. As you've seen throughout the game, they've been able to use their shoulders to lead forward and get more yards. And it goes over to Aldred again. Can he get to the end zone? He's got to get through CCS. Touchdown!
He lowered his shoulder to get into there again. What a great athletic play there by Aldrich.
Touchdown scored by number 44.
And as you look at this, even with several Colts in coverage, it's incredible stuff.
That brings
Watch
the
right there,
score
Aldrich
Colts
lowers his
14,
shoulder and
your
dives
Tennessee
towards the
Heat
end
12.
zone. Absolutely incredible senses right there. And this is big. This 2-point conversion is just as big as this drive was.
So this is, we've been saying it several times in this game. You talk about crucial moments, tying it up, especially down the stretch with about 11:06 left to go in the game. Tying it up is important here.
This game has been full of crucial moments, and both teams have been up to the task so far.
Two-point conversion attempt, pass across the middle
Knocked.
and batted down. Two-point conversion is no good, so 14-12. Tennessee Heat has held the Colts to only 14 throughout this game.
And that was Asher Nix on the edge right there, coming off that block and throwing his hands up, being able to knock that pass down.
Asher Nix is a name we have mentioned all throughout the night. It's because the senior has been leading, or excuse me, the junior has been leading so well for the Colts. It has been a great leadership example of any play that you are on the field, you need to have your all into it and be prepared for anything that comes.
And when you do that, these big plays happen. They somehow find a way to be near you. Somehow, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. Every time. And that was a big-time play by Asher Nix.
Now, if the Heat could get a safety here, then that would tie the game. But you first have to get the ball in good position in the backfield. And you could boot it deep here, but knowing Christian Community with how good they are on kickoff returns, more than likely it's going to have to be a defensive stop here.
Colts, number 7, Aiden Luchtefeld out to kick for the Heat.
Luchtefeld kicks it off. It's a low squib kick and goes to the back of the end zone for a touchback. So it'll go to the, I believe, the 20-yard line. Either that or the 15. I always forget if they do on the 40-by-80 fields if they proportionally go to where it is. But
it looks like they're putting it on the 15-yard line. That was almost a picture-perfect kick right there. That ball barely made its way into the end zone. But what a smart play there by the Colts return man to let it go in there.
11:06 still on the clock, and again, don't forget to stay tuned for the post-game report. We'll go on the field, get an interview with the victorious coach, and analyze the game. Flag on the right side.
There's
Ball
another
popped
fumble.
out, but it does bounce out of bounds. So still technically CCS will interpret the call from what we see from the hand signals.
I think there was an illegal formation, maybe? It was illegal formation, or he was offside because that came out right as the snap happened. And it is an offsides call. It's looking like.
See if we can get it here as Marco does. It's a, yep.
Illegal formation.
It is a false start
Legal
against
formation.
the Colts. That'll back them up 5 yards.
You talk about, I may have jinxed it here with saying the possibility of a safety because, 10-yard line, it's still difficult on this, but anything can happen.
Anything can happen here indeed, especially on this wet night and the snaps we've seen tonight.
And right to the QB, looking for his options right side. The catch is made, That is a reception by Aaron Malham, who gets his team in a really good position down to about the 30-yard line, and they do stop the clock at 10:53.
What a great call there. What a great call there by the Colts. As they were expecting a rush on the Heat side, and was able to take that screen pass out for about a 20-yard gain.
Flanders, the offensive coordinator for Christian Community, and there's a reason why they're 42-15 on his overall record. As a rush on the left side, Will Adams tries to get the clock running on a 2nd and 7.
He tried to cut back. Adams tried to cut back there at the last second and was brought down with a great tackle by the Heat defenseman.
Good for almost 4 yards there. It'll bring up 2nd and about 7.5. About 7.
And this is big. What's big for Heat here is a touchdown does not kill them. A touchdown and a stop, they are still 1 touchdown out.
And rush on the right side. What a collision.
What a hit by number, is that 19?
I think it may have been.
Is 19? I
It
think
may have been
that
that
is
Josh
19.
Hackle.
Josh Hackle. What a hit. Lowered his shoulder, and that was a perfectly legal hit.
And that was a freshman, Cy Irvine, who had the carry on that, and good for him to just get back up and take that hit.
Bring up 3rd and 5.
And way to take it and get positive yardage out of that.
3rd down and 5. Again, the Heat defense trying to have as much time as possible on offense to take the lead. As toss left side, incomplete through the hands of Miles Bernard.
Now it comes to decision time. Do you punt it and try to pin them deep, or do you go for it?
4th and 5. We'll see what Flanders comes up with. Looks like they're sending the punt team out.
And that's the correct call. Pin them deep, force them to score because they have had trouble scoring, finishing off their drives.
So now 4th and 5. You could see a fake punt here. We've seen those kind of things before for Christian Community, as Aaron Malham will punt it away. And they're going to try to pin him deep here as it bounces right side. They're just going to let Christian Community touch it at about the 17-yard line. And it's time for Ryan Scott as the offensive coordinator. It's time to see what he's going to do. And we had a whistle on the other side of the field. I didn't see it. Couldn't tell if there was a flag down there.
I think they're just wanting the ball. And here's Ryan Scott on your screen right now.
Ryan Scott, he's in his 4th season as the head coach of the Tennessee Heat, 13 and 22 overall, and last year's record at 5 and 8 would have been the number 3 seed in the MTAC playoffs had they not been removed due to all that situation that happened last year. And Heat against Lancaster would have been a very interesting game in the postseason, even though it was just as rainy as it was earlier in this game. But would have been interesting to see what Ryan Scott and company could do against Coach Bragg and the Lancaster Knights. We'll see them at some point later down in the season. 1st and 10 for the Heat, trying to get a score to take the lead. Corley, pressure. He's going to take it and get a few yards gain on the play. I believe get to about the 20-yard line for a 2nd and 7.
What an angle taken there by Braden Chun. If he was tracking him the whole time, as you can see, and ended up tackling him at took him down for about an inch.
8.5 in the game.
Seconds to go in a game.
You maybe have time for one more drive after this if you're the Heat. If you don't score, of course.
Time management is key. And a big thing for Christian Community too is their question: do you let them score? You let them score with more time. And we'll see what they could do here. Corley, quick toss. There's Aldrett, left side, big collision there, and that was with Will Adams, and no flag there. Will Aldrett down on the field.
And it looked like he led with his helmet. Let's see here on the play.
We do have a player down on the field.
And
There it
We would
is.
ask all players on
we'll
the
see
field
what we
to
got
take a
on
knee.
there.
That
Oh,
whoa!
that
He led and launched with his helmet.
that's not good.
That should be an ejection.
Trace Aldred there.
What?
And that is unfortunate. I did not see any we didn't see any flags on the field.
They're
But
communicating that out right now.
Yep. Trace Aldred, unfortunately, down, and hopefully everything's okay with him. So, for the time being, we'll step aside. Good news is that Trace Aldred is off of the field. He's being looked at on the sidelines. It looks like he's okay.
He's looking like he's ready to come on after this play.
They may put him through the concussion protocol just to be safe, but as it looked by the replay, at least per our perspective, it looked like helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah, and that's what a high school is trying to get away from.
Yep. But the important thing, of course, regardless of penalty or anything, it's fortunate that Aldred is okay and standing on his feet. So back to play, 3rd down and 3. Corley, right side, pass incomplete, intended for Luchtefeld. Couldn't get the reception, and now you face a 4th down. Granted, you have the clock stopped at 7:34.
So that looked like it hit out of Luchtefeld's hands, but the pass looked like it was intended for Josh Hackle. And Hackle almost came down with it off the tip. And here comes Aldred, but something's not right.
Aldred in the backfield. It looks like they're going to punt away. It looks like they're betting on their defense has been so successful through this game. They're betting on them to make a stop in the backfield and try it all over again. Again, one of the closest games we've ever seen between the Tennessee Heat and Christian Community, and Aldred punting it away. As it goes through the feet. Can the Heat get it? And it looks like CCS fell on it.
It is.
Ball was fumbled
yes,
by the
it
Colts.
was.
CCS. It looked like it was clearly he fell on it at first, but you can see by the replay again here, that was pretty. That was good awareness by Will Adams to get the ball. went through his hands at first, but good awareness for them to get back on it.
Yeah, he came up for it, but he ran into his own blocker there. That was a great job by the Heat guy pushing up and forcing a tough catch.
So now 7:24 left to go in the game. Christian Community has a tough situation here. Of course, you want to march it down the field and run down the clock.
34-yard line.
The question is, how many timeouts does the Tennessee Heat have? They may have saved all 3 to this point, but we'll see what they do. Right side rush immediately met by Andrew Corley. That was a rush by the Colts number 16, so Cy Irvine again, taking some snaps as a freshman, and 2nd down and 4.
The Heat only do have 2 timeouts because of that incomplete pass on the goal line earlier in the half. But that was great way to lower the shoulder there by the Colts. Oh.
And looks like we got a false start.
That is false start by the Colts.
Running back took a step too quick there.
That'll back them up 5 yards.
And that's why you saw the defensive end for the Heat take a step in. He was reading that running back, and as soon as he moved, he moved. But going back to the play before, he lowered his shoulder and gained those extra yards to where I know it's 2nd and 8 now, but it was 2nd and 3 there, and 7-yard gains. They'll take that all day.
It is 2nd and 9, Colts.
Already 1 minute shaved off the game clock from this. Christian Community, again, if they control the tempo, they got a chance to get a win by 2. Toss in the middle, incomplete.
Just off the
Couldn't get the reception.
My bad there. It was off the fingertips. And that's a risky play there because you've already ran off a minute of the game clock. Throwing the ball stops that clock.
Brandon Shunn, the sophomore, trying to get the reception there, just couldn't get it in.
He tried to come back to it. He just couldn't get there.
6:16 in the game. With the clock stopped at
3rd and 9, Colts.
Colts have motion on the play. 3rd down. Fake reversal in the backfield, tries to toss it. The Heat trying to get him, tripped up in the backfield.
What?
Drew Belcher.
Sorry again, Spencer. What a sack right there. That is huge right there. They took away that screen pass, forcing him to bring down the ball and run. And now,
4th and 12 for the Colts.
Now the Colts have to punt this away.
Ball is spotted at their own 32-yard line.
With about 6 minutes to go in this game.
And we'll see if the Colts will punt it away here. And
they're getting close all night.
Oh, it's blocked! No, the Colts punt is blocked, and Carter Sutton, touchdown!
I was about to say, they've been close all night to blocking a kick, and there is no flags. What a block!
Carter Sutton
Timely.
Touchdown by number 48.
You could see it on here. Carter Sutton saw that coming from a mile away, and you could see it right there at full swing.
He's been close all night for that. And now the pressure's on CCS.
I think for the the pressure's on CCS to make a defensive stop here as well. Because
yes.
2-point conversion, then another defensive stop could occur. But I think this is the first time in a while that the Tennessee Heat have led against Christian Community. It's incredible what we're witnessing here at Charlie Daniels Park.
Tennessee Heat going for the 2-point conversion.
And this is the type of game you want to start off a season.
This is the type of game we want to start off with the season for sure. Toss to the end zone. He caught it, but there is a flag.
That may
is
be
that
offensive. That may be offensive. He looked like he did push off. Let's see.
Is that
it
offense?
It is. It's
They're
called
calling
on,
it against the Heat.
It's called. Is that Goolsby? Is that called on Goolsby?
I believe that was.
Yes, it was called on Goolsby. They were both hand fighting, but at the end he did shove off and extend his arms, which is what the referees are looking for right there.
They are discussing it, and
it's
on
on
the
defense.
It's declined, and the 2-point conversion is good.
Pass interference against the
Again, the
Colts
discussion
declined.
there. This is some of the things you
Two-point
see in
conversion
clutch
is
games like this. The referees
That brings
convene,
your
they
score.
discuss it, and they
Colts
make the right
14,
call there.
Tennessee Heat 20.
5:29 in the game. A 6-point lead for the Tennessee Heat. The pressure is now on the Colts.
And they were hand fighting there. It was going to be a 50-50 call, and they did go against the defense. But that's a great job right there by the officials to talk it out, because the initial call was on Goolsby. And that's what you want in these games. You want the referees to make the right calls, and they've called a great game.
Mike Walker and company, they have been fantastic. They're talking with Ryan Scott right now to make sure that everything is correct. But You see this. You see the. It's just like you said. They've been calling a great game. I mean, you know, you could say what you want about the helmet-to-helmet contact, especially the dangerous play there. You could say what you want about the possible pass interference in the end zone, but for about 98% of the time, it's been a good called game by Mike Walker and company.
Oh, definitely.
And now leave it with the pressure on one of the best offensive coordinators in the league with his team in a tough situation. And there's Cy Irvine staying on his feet to about the 27-yard line. And what will the Colts do now?
Well, this is the exact situation I was talking about at the beginning of the game. They are not a quick strike offense. So they're going to have to methodically march their way down the field, and they have 5 minutes. They have plenty of time. They have all 3 timeouts. But it's going to be interesting because they haven't been able to move the ball on this Tennessee Heat defense the second half.
5:22 on the game clock, and we're ready to see what the Colts are going to do, and we'll see if the Heat defense can match it. 1st and 10. Run to the right side again, Cy Irvine. They're trusting the freshman, and immediately met by the Heat defense. Initial contact by Ryan Schroeder.
And the edge wasn't set there by the Heat because they all over-pursued for that run going to the left. This is the first time they've had it going to the right this whole second half by the Colts. What a great time to call it as you have 2nd and 8.
32-yard line.
And 2nd and 2, my bad. A gain of 8.
From their own 32.
And with that gain of 8 yards, the clock's still winding down. Again, time management key here. If the Tennessee Heat could get enough stops, there's not enough time for them to get something going. Right side almost tripped up in the backfield, loses the football, but gets it back. Tennessee Heat immediately stop him on that, about at the line of scrimmage a little bit before, so 3rd down.
Loss of about a yard
And
on the play.
what a great cutback to avoid Goolsby, but he left the ball exposed, which was what allowed the Heat to punch it out, and quick reflexes there to fall back on top of it, because if not, that's a game changer. You have 4 minutes left. You have to make sure you're possessing the ball here if you're the Colts.
3rd down and 4.
Make some noise, Heat fans.
Under 4 minutes left. And they lose the ball, but picked up on the left side. Good awareness by Aaron Malham, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage, and now the Colts really have the pressure on 4th down.
He wasn't ready for the snap. He was putting someone in motion, and the center read that as a "I'm ready" snap, and went off of quarterback's hands, picked up, and it was a great job just to get back to the line of scrimmage there.
An intense game here, 4th and 4.
Colts are going for it. Tennessee Heat fans, make some noise!
And it is loud in here.
The Heat fans are excited. They know what's at stake. 4th down. Toss to the right side. Incomplete.
And
defensive turnover. Plenty of time with 3:07 left to go, but plenty of time.
There is plenty of time. All 3 timeouts. It's going to be big to see what happens and how the Heat deal with this situation.
3 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the game. 1st and 10.
Do you try to score again and take the risk, or do you just keep running it to run out the clock?
The way my offense has been moving it, I would go for it. I would put the pedal to the metal and say, strength on strength right now. Strength on strength. Heat's offense has been good today, but this defensive line of the Colts has been outstanding as well. And don't forget, it's wet. It's still wet out there. A ball could easily be poked out, as you saw a couple of plays ago.
1st and 10, Tennessee Heat from the Colts 31.
Weather forecast right now. No rain in sight, but about 67 degrees, maybe a little bit of light rain, but not as much noticeable here at Charlie Daniels Park. Is Charlie Daniels on their side, seeing him from the afterlife? Who knows? And rush up the middle for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. That's Luchtefeld to run down the clock. And the question is, how many timeouts does CCS have to try and burn here and stop it?
If my memory serves me correctly, they have all 3. It's going to be interesting to see when they start to use them, though. And if you're the Colts, you don't want to use it now because you already given up half of the first down. So they were seeing if they get them in the backfield or gain about 2, that's when you'd probably see them call their first time out.
2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. 2nd and 5. And right side Corley gets the deep toss across the middle. Catch made. Good reception. Josh Hackle with the reception, and on a 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line. Could have sealed it, but not guaranteed yet.
What a route right there. If you watch it, he runs to drag it up. He drags it right there, and then perfect throw on the money, and a catch that you get. I don't know when the Colts are going to start using their timeouts.
Not sure when, but they got 1:50 to think about it.
Just a reminder, our play clock is 35 seconds long.
Just a reminder, stay in for the post game. We'll interview the victorious coach. Will the Tennessee Heat get their first victory against Christian Community? Or will the Colts make a stop here or defensive play and march back down the field?
And if you look, in the end zone, the referee winds his hand like a clock to let them know that the play clock is running down.
And there's a rush up the middle for Trace Aldrett.
And there's the first.
And first timeout charged by Christian Community. In an intense game, 1:22 left to go on the game clock. The Heat on the verge of beating Christian Community for the first time in program history.
Left in the game.
You can see the intensity here with 1:22 left to go in the fourth. 2nd down and 7. A touchdown would essentially seal the fate. Trace Aldred left side. Does he have an opening? Pylon! Pylon.
They're marking him short. They're marking him at the inch line.
Short.
But that gives them a first down.
It still gives him a first to go.
But he did go out of, he went out of bounds. And there's going to be a 15-yard penalty on 40 on Trace Aldred right there for unsportsmanlike conduct with arguing with the ref around the sides.
You got to be careful. You can't do that. You can't do that. And again, the microphone is having issues. We'll hopefully get it fixed next week. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And he is. Here, we're going to see this one more time. Did he get in?
Again, the camera angle may not be conclusive, but you see on the edge there, he dives for the pylon.
His feet.
It looks like it may out, but 115.
That is a 15-yard penalty.
But again,
the ball
it still
could
wastes
have
time.
gone out of bounds before he knocked the pylon over.
It's tough
That's
to see
the
it from
key.
that angle.
That's the key. We have
We're waiting on the
down.
chain gang. We're waiting on the chain gang to make the ruling here. They marked him short, and I believe it is first down because it was 15 yards from the spot, from the end of the play, because it was after the play.
Yes,
so it's a first down and 10 from behind the line.
That's correct. The chains do not set until the ball is set for the first down, which is why they get 10 more yards.
Corley looking for his options. Scrambles. Corley has got an opening to seal the fate. Touchdown, Tennessee Heat.
That is a Tennessee Heat.
And way to bring that down, and saw the whole left side of the field wide open. And as you can see, once he brings it down, there's no defenders on the left for CCS, and Sorley just runs it in untouched, and that should seal it.
So we were corrected 9 years ago in 2011. The Heat beat Christian Community. This has been a long time coming. The Heat have been wanting vengeance, and looks like they got the chance to get it here. And field goal attempt. James will love this. Luchtefeld set to kick, and placeholder is Wyatt Hill. Testing it out to see if it's going to go. Luchtefeld, is he going to do it? It's good. Yep.
Right.
It's good.
Down the middle. But looking at the clock, a quick score here. This game, there's still a chance for the Colts.
Again, Christian Community has been put in these situations before. They've had that in the 2017 MTAC Championship. They had it in the National Championship in 2018 where they had close situations. So they've been put in these stress scenarios before. They can overcome. It's just a question of what can Flanders do.
1 minute, 6 seconds to go in the game.
And this is where the CCS Colts offensive air attack is put to test. As you saw earlier, they haven't had to use it yet, which was big. Which has been big all year. No, all the past few games that we've covered is they've been running the ball, they run the clock, and they control the tempo.
So booted deep, and the Colts will take a return. It's left side. It's Cy Irvine stopped at about the 18-yard line.
On the tackle.
We do have two injured Heat players.
All players
two Heat players down.
And we ask that those in the crowd please say a prayer for him.
Exactly 60 seconds left on the game clock, and just another unfortunate injury here at Charlie Daniels Park. Does not look like it's Aldred. It could be because not seeing his number on the sideline, but we will step aside. Josh Hackles, you can see heading back to the sideline. He's up and getting looked at by the medical staff, but 60 seconds left. And again, Colts, like you said, Zachary, they have a chance if they can get a quick score here, and we've seen some lightning offensive moves from the Flanders playbook.
Really, they need to score. If they don't get the onside, they need to score in the next 15, about probably 10 seconds. They have to score this play. If they want a chance, and see,
incomplete
as that ball is spiked in the ground. So what you have now is you have about 54, 55 seconds with a running football team, and when you put a running football team into a pass-first mode, it's out of character for them.
Heat fans, your boys are on the verge of a win here. You need to make some noise.
The Heat fan base knows they've been waiting 9 years for it. And on the verge as Christian Community tries to get something going. Deep toss left side. The catch is...
It's out of bounds.
Out of bounds. That was an intended completion by Brandon Chun. Would have been an incredible catch had he made it.
That'll bring up
couldn't get possession as he was going out of bounds. 49 left.
He couldn't get that 1 foot down as that was a great throw. He wasn't able to gain his control going to the ground. And here it is. It's still out in here.
The Heat fan base
Heat fans, make that noise.
Ready to go. 3rd down and 10. Left side, Belcher, toss, catch is made, gets out of bounds.
That's a first down, but that is a great tackle by Luchtefeld there, because you'll give them those short passes all day. Make them methodically drive down the field.
Asher Nix on the reception, shaves 7 seconds off of the game clock.
There's about 33 seconds.
42.
There's 42 seconds.
42 seconds left in the game.
42 seconds to go in the game. It is 1st and 10 Colts from their own 33.
Officials time here. Just having just trying to make sure that the ball is positioned right, and they're looking at an equipment situation with Aldred.
It looks like the strap of Aldred was was messed up, and the referee was making sure, taking the precaution that his helmet was strapped up properly.
Christian Community again trying to get a deep pass. Scramble. Here goes Belcher. Drew Belcher has got space, staying on his feet down to about the 24-yard line. Flanders saying go, go, go. 33 seconds on the clock. They always stop it for the positioning in high school football, and they're trying to get a quick snap here as the clock resumes. 23 seconds and winding.
20 seconds to go.
Those are deep.
And toss deep incomplete, 17 seconds.
It was right over. It was right over the receiver's hands there, but it was a great breakup there by
17 seconds to go in the game. 2nd and 10 Colts.
Luchtefeld.
Ball is spotted at the Tennessee Heat.
Here's the replay of the run. As you can see, great tackle coming up here to save a touchdown.
I have a feeling we're going to see Drew Belcher really excel well in future games. So, although it is going to be a loss here for Christian Community, nothing to be ashamed of with how close they played, as incomplete again. 12 seconds.
Number 14 is incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 10 Colts.
The conditions weren't great today, and at the end of the day, I thought it was going to play into the hands of the Colts, but it actually did play in the hands of the Heat. Like, all the momentum was taken from the Heat, and they didn't gain their momentum back until halftime. But they had some crucial stops during the second quarter that kept them in this game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget, stay here on broadcast for the post-game interview and post-game show. We'll interview Coach Ryan Scott on his thoughts of the first victory for the Heat over Christian Community in 9 seasons. And we'll give our final thoughts on the game. Almost an interception by Luchtefeld. 6 seconds left.
And this is your last play of the game. 4th and 10.
4th and 10 for the Colts.
This was just a great all-around defensive display for both teams. But the Colts offense, they couldn't convert. No, not the Colts. The Heat offense couldn't convert in the first half or the beginning of the second. But once it came to the fourth quarter, the blocked punt completely changed the momentum into the favor of the Heat.
Final play of the game. Christian Community tries one last offensive stride here. And that'll do it for the first time in 9 seasons as Belcher runs up the middle and loses the football. The Tennessee Heat have beaten the Christian Community Colts. We're going down to the field for the post-game interview. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
hear the excitement from the Tennessee Heat over there on the side. Special thanks to, of course, our guy Jack Hellwig in the booth for handling all this stuff last second. But the Tennessee Heat excited after that. That's the kind of reaction from a team that they know they've been waiting a long time for this victory, especially because of the close games they've had against Christian Community in the past. Completely ready for whatever was about to get, and Ryan Scott coming on camera in just a moment. So I'll have you step to the side over here, hand your microphone over, and the victorious coach, Mr. Ryan Scott. Coach, let's first off, 9 years it's been since the Tennessee Heat has gotten a victory against Christian Community, and in that fashion, 2 scores. How incredibly hyped is your team now going into the season with this win? It's very interesting to see how it goes, and especially for this season. We'll just use my microphone in case, because apparently it's yours. For at least this season, this is a first for us on broadcast, because first time we had a lightning delay in an opening game, and it looked like from the lightning delay you stopped CCS on defense, and then going in the second half they win 2 scores. What did you tell your guys coming out of the halftime locker room to shift the momentum and to take control of this game?
Well, actually we didn't. Sadly, I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but I brought up that 2 years ago the sprinklers came on when we were winning 21 to 20 actually, and we let the game get away from us then against a great team. So I told them to keep their focus, and honestly, we struggled when we came back from the break. And I just am so grateful that my boys decided to fight. Our theme this year is hard work, and they put in the hard work, and I think it paid off. Even with some of the mistakes we made, we were in next place.
Now we saw towards the end of the game, Aldred had that helmet-to-helmet collision. Good to see that he was able to come back into the game, clear the concussion protocol. I'm sure you guys will be evaluating that later on, but everything good to report with him?
Yeah, he didn't black out. My life is registered with success to everything. We're concussion certified. He got a good shot. It was a clean hit in my opinion. I mean, the boy didn't leave his feet, but it's a running back going down the sideline. That's football. So I had no problem with the hit. It did shake him up a little bit, but he showed all signs of being just fine. So we can run back in.
Well, congratulations. The first time the Heat has beaten CCS since 2011. Congratulations, Coach. Best of luck to you guys in the rest of the season. Looking forward to see the rest of your games.
Thank you, Spencer. It's always a joy having you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it, Coach. All right, Zachary, well, let's try to wrap it up here. So as we try to wrap it up here, hopefully your microphone is working. If not, that's okay. But all right, it's still off. It might be the batteries on that thing. But, well, Zachary, any last thoughts on what an incredible matchup on 27-14? We talked about Christian Community, and this doesn't define them as a team, but going into next week, they've got the Freedom Cowboys, who always bring a tough matchup. They're always a competitive team. How are they going to bounce back from this game and go into that game, especially at home against Freedom?
Well, the turnovers, that was their main thing, especially the second half. Good stuff. It wasn't like they were just like blown out in the second half. It was close until about the 2-minute mark when the 5-minute mark when the pump block happened. And then after that, they lost all the momentum. But they did a lot of good things today. They just got to keep doing what they were doing, honestly. Just keep playing hard, because there were times where they looked dominant. They just unlucky. They just had some unlucky bounces.
Unlucky for the Colts, but for the Tennessee Heat again, first time in 9 years that they've gotten a victory against Christian Community. That's going to wrap it up here from Charlie Daniels Field. Charlie Daniels from the Afterlife put a blessing on the Tennessee Heat as they get the victory, 24 to, or excuse me,